When you open a new play, you have a Let's Begin dialog, which gives you the option of creating a one-to-one patch or to start with a clear patch. Regardless of which, all these three choices I'm going to show you are valid. Now, out of these three, the output editor is the absolutely most versatile and fast way to patch conventional lights. So let's start there. We press output and open the output editor. As in all Congo views, there are different formats for seeing what we're doing. The first one is all outputs. If I press format, I'll only see the currently selected outputs, and there are none right now. I'll press format again. I'll see my patched outputs. I'll press format and I'll see my unpatched outputs, which is very useful. And I'll press format and I'm back to all outputs. So I'm going to use the Congo command syntax, the default syntax, because it's the absolutely fastest way to work with the console. To select an output, I enter the number, for example 1, and press output. Output 1 is selected now. If I want to identify it, I can set a level with a level wheel or with the level functions of the numerical keypad. And as you can see, the level is displayed from 0 to 255. It's an 8-bit level, not in percent. So 0 level says a level of 0. If I want to patch a channel to this output, I enter the channel number and I hit modify. So 5, modify. This gives me a dialog where I can confirm if I want to patch channel 5 to output 1.1. The 0.1 is the universe. I have the option of replacing existing dimmers if there are any, but there aren't. And I have an OK key. So I use my up and down arrows to select the appropriate box, and I press modify to confirm. Channel 5 is now patched to output 1. To unpatch it, I'll just patch channel 0 there instead. So 0 modify. Do you want to unpatch the selected output? Yes, I do. So I hit modify again. That's it. You could stop right here and just start patching. You can stay another couple of minutes and I'll show you all the perks of patching really fast in different situations with the output editor. So you can patch a range of outputs as well. I've already selected output 1. If I want to select the first 17 outputs, I hit enter the number of the last one, 17, and I hit through. So now I've selected output 1 through 17. Now, obviously, there are two options. I could patch all these outputs to that single channel, or I want all these outputs to be patched to channels consecutively, starting at the channel I enter. So if I want all these 17 outputs to be patched to channel 1, I enter 1, modify, and in the box of the dialog, the pre-selected button is patch to channel 1. So I'll just hit modify. Output 1 through 17 are patched to channel 1. To remove them, I enter 0 and press modify and confirm. If I want to try the other option, patching these 17 channels to channel 1 through 17, I just enter 1, modify again. I use the down arrow to select patch to 17 channels starting at 1 and hit modify. And now I patched 1 through 17 to channel 1 through 17. So this is a really fast way of patching a range of channels, and they don't have to be in consecutive order. I'll show you one more method of working which can be very useful if you're patching by output or patching by dimmer. So I'll remove these, 0, modify, and modify. The outputs don't necessarily have to be selected as a range. I could select 1 output, 21 plus, 41 plus, 23 plus, 5 plus, 17 through. Now if I want to patch these, but I want to see them as I patch them, to confirm in my plot that I'm patching the right numbers, I use the next last function of the console. So I press next. The first output is selected, it's set to full, and I can patch it. So if I want to patch this to channel 1, 1, modify, modify. If I hit next, I'll step to the next output in the order they were selected. I can enter 21, modify, modify. Press next, I go to 41. If this is supposed to be channel 500, I can enter 500, modify, modify. So this is a fast way to patch by channel or by dimmer. And I keep saying by channel as well, because in the output view, you can select outputs or you can select channels. So if I say 21 channel, I've selected channel 21 with the output patched to it. If I say 500 channel, I've selected channel 500 with output 41. And I can use the level wheel to double check that I've patched the right output. Now, I said there were 3 ways of patching, and the output editor is the absolutely most versatile one, which gives you feedback immediately. You can patch conventional lights in the patch wizard. I'll show you because it's really fast and simple, and it's mostly intended for patching a dimmer rack, for example. So I close the output editor pressing escape. I press browser to open the browser. Now the patch wizard was already selected. If it hadn't been selected, I would have used the arrow keys to select it. I hit modify. I open the patch wizard. So the patch wizard has 3 sections, and patch dimmer is the first one. This is a form I fill in. Up arrow, number of dimmers. It's a dimmer rack with 24 outputs, so 24 modify. Starting at desk channel, 1 modify. Down arrow, DMX address of the rack, 1 modify. The universe, it's 1 modify. Do I want to replace existing dimmers? Yes, I do. And I down arrow to execute, and I hit modify. So now 24 dimmers have been patched. Channels 1 through 24 are patched to outputs 1 through 24. And it says see channel list for details, and that suits us fine because that's the third and last option I wanted to show you. So I'll just hit modify to confirm, escape to close the patch wizard, and we're going to open the channel list. That can be done in 2 ways. I can go to settings and tools. I'm using the arrow keys, down arrow to channel list, and hit modify. Or if I close that, I can just hold the modify key and hit the channel key. That's the shortcut for opening the channel list. The channel list is a list view of all your desk channels in the first column and the dimmers and devices they're patched to. The columns are dimmer address. If you have multiple dimmers, you can open this as an editor and see the rest just by hitting modify. If you have a device template, it will show up here. Device address will show up. These 3 functions, scale, park, and name, are not covered in this tutorial, so let's just forget them for now. But the channel list is mostly used for viewing channels. You can patch here as well if you need to make a single correction of a channel. For example, if you want to patch output 25 to channel 25, you enter 25 decimal point and the universe, in this case universe 1. Here's the number I've just entered. And you hit modify, and it's patched. And if you want to add another output to the same channel, you hit modify to open the editor, enter 26, and press insert. And here you can change the universe if you want. I'll press escape to close, and I'll press escape to close. So now you've seen 3 ways of patching. The output list was the main place for patching. The patch wizard is cool if you have a range that is consecutive, and the channel list is mainly an overview where you also can patch and make corrections if you need to.